is illegal, you know.
In October of the year 2000, a rather unknown game developer by the name of American McGee released a game so unique that it couldn't help but capture the attention of 10-year-old me. American McGee's Alice was a PC game that took Lewis Carroll's beloved Alice in Wonderland book and turned it into a frightful, dark horror game. Kind of. The game itself follows Alice after a house fire has killed everyone in her family but herself, thus sending her into a state of madness that keeps her locked up in an asylum through adulthood. Her denial and grief about the tragedy has turned inward into Wonderland, the imaginary world in her head, and it's transformed it into this horrible, corrupted place full of suffering and insanity. The gameplay puts you in Alice's shoes as you adventure through her psyche, defeating familiar faces from the book that have now turned grotesque and gruesome as Alice conquers her own emotional state. Let me tell you, this game came into my life at the right time. I was starting my awkward goth girl Jonan Vasquez roadkill-loving morbid tween stage, and this one fit right in. So much that I did a terribly awkward cosplay, and even inspired my sister and I to compose our own soundtrack to a made-up game of similar concept. American McGee's Alice sold very well, and received many excellent reviews, even to this day, mostly for the iconic and unique storytelling, the graphics, which were very good for the time, and the music, which was composed by Chris Vrenna, ex-member of Nine Inch Nails. It also went on to spawn a sequel, Madness Returns. There was going to be a third, but it has been sadly officially shut down. Now, the original Alice is a little hard to find, but a coworker of mine was able to track down some handy tips on how you can actually unlock it through the sequel, Madness Returns, if you buy it on Steam. I'd say it was a good 20 years since I had last played it. 20 years that I had spent dreaming of how much I longed to revisit it. Got all the patches to work, fired it up, and I was so happy to find that it was successful. But I gotta say, this game actually kind of sucks. Aesthetically, it holds up. What American McGee was attempting to do was pulled off extremely well. This creepy dark wonderland, the twisted psychological metaphor, the way familiar places are twisted into darkness is masterful, and the legacy that the game made is indeed justified. The music, too, it's very hard to top. Icing on the cake that completes the dark vibe. But realistically speaking, this game is really hard to play, and not in a this is a challenge way. The platforming is a nightmare. It's hard to predict where she's going to jump. You can't block any attack. There's little to no direction on what to do and where to go, rendering many parts of the game annoying to figure out, despite the plot being really linear and straightforward. Plus that great music. There's only a handful of tracks, and throughout the game they repeat and repeat on different levels. So nothing, after the first 6 tracks, nothing's really surprising or unique again. Overall, going back to Alice as an adult, feels like the game is still in beta. Mega beta. It's missing levels, and there's gonna be more things to do on levels. We're trying it out, and more will be added. And I gotta say, I was really disappointed. But the game still remains a legend in its own right, and I do think it's worth experiencing at least one time. A lot of love and care went into it, and like I said, the aesthetic was fully achieved. It's also worth it so that you can go on to play Madness Returns, which is a fully developed and competent masterpiece. We are sad that the third one will never be.